Hi, I'd like to give you a brief history of hypnosis. Where does hypnosis come from? Evidence of hypnotic-like phenomena appears in many ancient cultures. The writer of Genesis seems familiar with the anaesthetic power of hypnosis when he reports that God put Adam into a deep sleep to take his rib to form Eve. Other ancient records suggest hypnosis was used by the oracle at Delphi and in rites in ancient Egypt. The modern history of hypnosis, though, begins in the late 1700s, when a French physician, Anton Mesmer, revived an interest in hypnosis. Franz Anton Mesmer was born in Vienna, and he lived from 1734 to 1815. Mesmer is considered the father of hypnosis. He is remembered for the term mesmerism, which described a process of inducing trance through a series of passes he made with his hands and/or magnets over people. He worked with a person's animal magnetism, which is psychic and electromagnetic energies. The medical community eventually discredited him, despite his considerable success treating a variety of ailments. His successes offended the medical establishment of the time, who arranged for an official French government investigating committee. This committee included Benjamin Franklin, then the American ambassador to France, and Joseph Guillotine, a French physician who introduced a never-fail device for physically separating the mind from the rest of the body. Youch. From 1795 to 1860 is when James Braid lived, and James Braid was an English physician, originally opposed to mesmerism, as it had become known, who subsequently became interested. He said that cures were not due to animal magnetism, however, they were due to suggestion. He developed the eye fixation technique, also known as Braidism, of inducing a relaxation and called it hypnosis, after Hypnos, the god of sleep, as he thought the phenomena was a form of sleep. Later, realizing his error, he tried to change the name to monoideism, meaning influence of a single idea. However, the original name stuck. Jean-Marie Charcot lived from 1825 to 1893, and Jean-Marie Charcot was a French neurologist, and he disagreed with the Nancy school of hypnotism and contended that hypnosis was simply a manifestation of hysteria. There was bitter rivalry between Charcot and the Nancy group, which included Liebald and Bernheim. Charcot revived Mesmer's theory of animal magnetism and identified the three stages of trance, which are lethargy, catalepsy, and somnambulism. Pierre Janet, I'm tempted to say Janet. Pierre Janet lived from 1845 to 1947. And he was a French neurologist and psychologist who was initially opposed to the use of hypnosis until he discovered its relaxing effects and promotion of healing. Janet was one of the few people who continued to show an interest in hypnosis during the psychoanalytical rage. Ivan Petrovich Pavlov lived from 1849 to 1936. And Ivan Pavlov was a Russian psychologist who actually was more focused on the study of the digestive process. He is known primarily for his development of the concept of the conditioned reflex or stimulus response theory. In his classic experiment, he trained hungry dogs to salivate at the sound of a bell, which was previously associated with the sight of food. Pavlov was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physiology in 1904 for his work on digestive secretions. Though he had nothing to do with hypnosis, his stimulus response theory is a cornerstone in linking and anchoring behaviors, particularly in NLP. Emile Coué, C-O-U-E, lived from 1857 to 1926. Emile Coué was a physician who formulated the laws of suggestion. He is also known for encouraging his patients to say to themselves 20 to 30 times a night before going to sleep, every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. He also discovered that delivering positive suggestions when prescribing medication proved to be a more effective cure than prescribing medications alone. He eventually abandoned the concept of hypnosis in favor of just using suggestion, feeling hypnosis in the hypnotic state impaired the efficiency of the suggestion. Here are Coué's laws of suggestion. The law of concentrated attention says, whenever attention is concentrated on an idea over and over again, it spontaneously tends to realize itself. I'm evidence of that. All of us are, aren't we? The law of reverse action says, the harder one tries to do something, the less chance one has of success. The law of dominant effect says, a stronger emotion tends to replace a weaker one. Sure. Sigmund Freud lived from 1856 to 1939. Sigmund Freud traveled to Nancy and studied with Liebald and Bernheim, and then did additional study with Charcot. Freud did not incorporate hypnosis in his therapeutic work, however, because he felt he could not hypnotize patients to a sufficient depth. He felt that the cures were temporary and that hypnosis stripped patients of their defenses. Freud was considered a poor hypnotist given his paternal manner. However, his clients often went into trance, and he often unknowingly performed nonverbal inductions when he would place his hand on his patient's head to signify the doctor-dominant, patient-submissive roles. Because of his early dismissal of hypnosis in favor of psychoanalysis, hypnosis was almost totally ignored. Carl Jung, 1875 to 1961, lived. Carl Jung, a student and colleague of Freud's, rejected Freud's psychoanalytical approach and developed his own interests. He developed the concept of the collective unconscious and archetypes. Though he did not actively use hypnosis, he encouraged his patients to use active imagination to change old memories. He often used the concept of the inner guide in the healing work. He believed that the inner mind could be accessed through tools like the I Ching and astrology. He was rejected by the conservative medical community as a mystic. However, many of his ideas and theories are actively embraced by healers to this day. Milton Erickson lived from 1932 to 1974. Milton Erickson was a psychologist and psychiatrist and pioneered the art of indirect suggestion in hypnosis. He is considered to be the father of modern hypnosis. His methods bypassed the conscious mind through the use of both verbal and nonverbal pacing techniques, including metaphor, confusion, and many others. He was a colorful character and has immensely influenced the practice of contemporary hypnotherapy and its official acceptance by the AMA. His work, combined with the work of Satir and Pearls, was the basis for Bandler and Grinder's neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. And that concludes this brief history of hypnosis. And now that you know some about it, if you're interested in doing hypnosis, being able to wield that power that no one else can on yourself and on others, make sure to check out this site right here. This site is helping thousands of people effectively learn and master hypnosis, both conversational hypnosis and self-hypnosis. And you can check it out instantly by clicking the link in my video description below. This is Drew Lumino, and thank you.